Hi there, everyone. We are doing a virtual tasting together. Chef Chris and Sam Ed are here from Old North State Winery, ONS as we like to call it around here. We're down in the barrel room. Our winemaker Tyler Feltz lets us play and do videos and whatnot down here while he's not using the facility. And of course, he's getting ready for the big harvest coming in.
Big harvest tomorrow.
For our big wines that we make here, but we also explore the wines of the world. We do it every Thursday night. We do 4 wines here in person. If you can't be here in downtown Mount Airy on Main Street, we would love to have you virtually. You can watch from your RV, your boat, your couch, wherever. Outer space, I guess. I don't know. Why not?
I guess the sky isn't the limit then now, is it?
We are on the YouTube channel. We've done a lot of these little episodes, and we like to do a whole bunch more. We do 2 of the 4 wines that we're going to be tasting this Thursday. And if you'd like to pick up these virtual packs, I highly recommend them. You'll get 2 full bottles and tasting food to go along with it so that you can better understand the relationship between food and wine, because it is significant. And of course, we think it's important for everybody to know all the wines of the world so they can understand why our wines at Old North State in the Yadkin Valley are special too.
It's a great thing to have in your repertoire to understand the wines of your backyard and the wines of the world. The more you know about wine, the more wine you get to drink.
That's a good point. And the only way to learn is by tasting.
No other way.
Cheers, Chef.
Cheers. Super tropical nose on that, Chefy.
Oh, this is a beauty. So this is the once forgotten grape of Pecorino. La Valentina. They're from Abruzzo, Italy, central Italy, just east, I guess, of Rome, on the Adriatic Sea side there. And what we have here is a grape that was in the mid 20th century was considered extinct. They'd totally forgotten about this grape. And then some fella in the 1980s he caught word that there was an abandoned vineyard that still had these varietals growing in it. So there wasn't truly extinct, obviously. And they've been splicing off that rascal for a long time to redevelop this grape. And it is a special grape. It really prefers altitude. Kind of like when we're doing the Pinot Bianco, Chef, we talked about how it needs altitude to be special, and Pecorino does too. This is, of course, in the foothills, so it does get some altitude. But with that being said, man, what a shame it would be to not be able to experience this, because this is a really special grape, Pecorino. If you haven't had it, we've had it.
Not the cheese, the wine.
We've done a couple of these over the years, and I feel like every time that we put it in front of people, they're
blown away. They're blown away.
It's a grape that gives you really good acidity, and that's important, especially in warmer areas, because they don't naturally retain acidity in warmer climates, most grapes. So they need cool air. So if you can't have cool, then you need a grape that already is abundant with acidity and retains acidity, and Pecorino gives you that. It also gives you high alcohol development, which is great too. So checked in boxes there.
Left and right. Love the pineapple on the nose, love the guava on the nose. Just a really exciting wine. Right out before you even get into it. It really has you excited about the profile just from the bouquet, and that's always a great sign.
And just so you out there are aware that we are drinking this probably in the mid-40s temperature-wise, and it's really plush and it's really tropical. But what are the other great calling cards or hallmarks, if you will, of this varietal is minerality, and that's something that Chris and I would totally geek out on most wines. It's one of the things that we find important.
Believe it.
And these are the kind of wines that we want to pair with food, because we've just listed a bunch of characteristics in about 30 seconds. But texturally, when this gets a little, we typically serve our whites too cool in America, probably everywhere, but I can just speak for America, and it's okay. That's quite all right. I encourage people to not put your wine in a chiller and not be so fast to drink your whites and let it kind of. Well, ours is already tempered, and so drinking it at an optimal temperature for the experience of the grape. And, well, what is that temperature, Ed? Well, you have to taste wines and you have to experience each one individually at different temperatures to understand that. So here's your chance. Whenever you open a white bottle of wine, it's most likely coming out of a refrigerator for most people, and that's probably 32 to 35 degrees. Open it up, pour a small amount, not a ton in your glass, and swirl it around, and it'll naturally come up a few degrees. But leave your bottle out on the counter or butcher's block or wherever you happen to open it, on the table, and let it come up while you're drinking it. Just pour small amounts, and so that there's more air to wine ratio in your glass, so that it kind of warms up, and see how it evolves as it comes up. I do that at the restaurant. I always say, hey, I'll be happy to get you a chiller. But I would also recommend, leaving this on the table for a little while. Our coolers aren't quite that cool temperature, but we are still in the upper 30s. And, I still think that that's a little too cool for some wines. Now, champagne, keep it on ice. Bubbles, Prosecco, et cetera. Bubbles.
You don't want that bitter to flourish, right?
Yeah, and so we want cool on the bubbles. And, the thinner whites, I kind of got caught myself saying that because I think Pinot Grigio tastes way better when you cross over the 40 marker, up to
especially
40. The nicer
ones.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep.
I think you're talking about that in general, though. That
probably
didn't
the lower.
That didn't really need to be said. But if you're thinking about all your wines, if you've got a couple of $7 numbers in there, chill them down.
So
I was reading that we serve our whites too cold and our reds too warm. That what we consider room temperature is really not room temperature when room temperature was brought up.
Sure.
So when they were talking about room temperature reds, I think
65,
the common
64,
consensus was really that,
we
weren't talking about, an ambient 74, 75 degrees, and that 10 degrees really unnaturally warms up the reds. And to have I know a lot of people that have a cellar or a temperature control thing that, drinking them right out at 64 or so, 65 is really optimal for a red. Not that you want to plunge your red into an ice bath, but maybe dialing back to 75 degree reds a little bit. Is that accurate?
Oh yeah, you can stick it in the fridge for about 10 minutes.
Yeah, the fridge, but maybe not the ice contact.
The storage
I like to
temperature.
do that at home.
The storage temperature is in the low 50s, so that's kind of right in the middle for both. So it's
kind of letting it bloom coming out.
So you can chill it on the way out of storage or raise it up on the way out of storage. So it's kind of a mixed bag on that. But these are just things that you can play with. They're not always the most important thing in the world, but it is fun to try to get the most out of each particular producer's wine. La Valentina, we have their Montepulciano on our list we try to have it year round as long as we can get it, and it's one of our most popular wines by the glass. I don't know that I would have this on our wine list by the glass, just because obviously Pecorino is not a household name, and it was
hard sell.
It was almost considered extinct. So that would tell you that it wasn't that popular at one time. But in the right hands, like Valentina, that will give you a wonderful wine, just like their Montepulciano. Of course, I'm not surprised that we like this chef, because we're very drawn to Italian wines.
Oh, and yet again, it's showing us why we love these Italian wines so much. And, the story is as good as the juice. And, just such a, it's not a business over there. It's a lifestyle and a way of life. And, of course, most things turn into businesses. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't think it started out as that. So many great stories in Italy, their wine culture. I just love it, and I think it translates into the juice. I know the scientists will say it won't, but I do.
So what are you going to pair with this food-wise?
Well, I'm kind of at a crossroads between cheese and seafood on this, or maybe both.
You can't go wrong with either one.
The thinking about a little crab salad with this, which I think would be really delightful.
Mm-hmm.
I think of the little brininess with the mineral,
Yeah.
and maybe put a little citrus in there, pick up on some of these brighter notes. Yeah, that's where I'm headed.
All right, that's what you're getting, folks. Hope you enjoy that as much as I would like to have some right now.
Thank you.
Of course, we're filming this ahead of time so that we're not freaking out the day of when we have all that work to do.
We're even going even earlier than normal too, because like Chef Ed was saying, we have harvest tomorrow, so we actually will have a lot of Riesling from our vineyards coming in tomorrow, and also from a couple of other vineyards who we're making their wine for them. They grow their grapes, and then we do the finishing. So it's going to be a busy place down here tomorrow, and we don't want to interrupt that important work. So we're even going earlier than early this week. So, your box may look a little different. We may talk some more, but hopefully not. We'll stay true to what we're saying we're going to do. But crab salad, I'm going to go with it. I may put something extra in there, like a little cheese that I think may sing with this.
All right, kids, we're going to move on. And boy, that was a real treat.
Yeah,
I hope
really.
everybody enjoys that as much as we
I
did.
hope you don't need the rest of that bottle.
Yeah, well, it's going to go away. There's no doubt about that.
It's really nice.
That's not the kind of wine that ends up in a sauce. That's the kind of wine that ends up in a belly.
That's correct.
And I'm really excited to have been introduced to that producer. I've just really enjoyed all that they've done.
Well, it seems like across the board, it's really been rewarding.
And sometimes it's, okay, so obviously, Chef, I like wines, yeah.
Really?
But they don't always translate to the general dining public. You know what I mean? They don't always have the same
completely
palate as
agree.
I do. So
Well, and people come in with a preconceived style too of
Yeah.
what they like, so they're not really ready for a curveball.
that's quite possible, yes. That would be a good synopsis. Okay, so now we're going to go to Portugal. We're going to be in the Lisbon area. That's kind of central part of this really kind of thin, it's more north to south kind of country than east to west. It's kind of like California. It's more thin. The regions tend to go north to south for the most part. Quinta Chocapalha. There it is. I'm just struggling with the glare down here. We're going to have to get some professional people in here at some point
We're working on
to
it.
set us up for like a super duper podcast quality. But we're doing our best. So this is absolutely beautiful. This is actually a 2016, kids. So this is got quite a bit of age on it.
No kidding.
Almost 6 years from harvest, and that is significant. This is like most red blends from Portugal. Not all, but most are going to be a blend of multiple grapes, and this happens to have traditional grapes like Nacional and Roriz. Tinto Roriz, of course, is same as Tempranillo. It's just a different name because it's Portugal. It also has one of my favorite red grapes, Alicante Bouchette, although it's a very small amount.
Nice.
I just love saying that. But
It's a great word.
yeah, so all of our reds in Portugal are blends, and that makes things kind of tough in terms of identifying grapes. Like, let's say, like in the Somm world where you're tasting wines and identifying the grapes, blind in a glass, it's a little hard to do that when you rarely see these varietals alone by themselves in this country. But that's okay. We can certainly say, without a doubt, that Portuguese wines have a style. And whether it's, red or white, I feel like they have very distinct styles that I think most people that have enjoyed Portuguese wines would say, hey, this tastes like Portugal.
Absolutely. They are one of the few. I wouldn't say it's easy, and it's not what I'm saying, but one of the more forgiving countries to identify. Blind.
Well, this is
Chile.
big
the
time.
Green is always a dead giveaway.
And Italy a lot.
Italy a lot, absolutely. I would say this one's throwing me a little curve though, because
This is a little more complex.
It is,
Or
and-
maybe a little out of the. It's just bone dry.
it's bone dry. What's so funny though is it's still juicy. I know those don't go together.
Well, it comes on juicy.
It comes
and then
on, but it
Yeah.
dries up, and it has that it's dusty on the
Yes,
nose.
it is.
It's like that Rutherford dust.
And
you know?
actually-
And you can even smell the dust. It's like
yeah.
dirt, forest floor, like a dried forest.
Yeah.
Like if you're crunching, and it's just dusty like a Rutherford cab, but then it's juicy, the fruit, and then it like
It's also
it just goes a different direction.
yeah, and that dust comes back into play on texturally on the palate as well. But also I get some green in it, like not green,
Absolutely.
not talking like
Not green
foliage,
pepper.
but like underripe green. That's when I say green
Yep.
in this aspect. That's what I'm talking about. In Chile, I get green like habanero, bell pepper green.
This
yeah.
is more like green peppercorn.
And like in like say you know,
I mean, this doesn't go with a red, but I mean, even like if you like kind of scrubbed a melon, like not a cantaloupe, what's that, honeydew?
yeah.
But not, mostly we associate melons with white wine,
Sure.
but just the rind.
Yeah.
Just like if you scrubbing dirt off the rind of
Absolutely.
a honeydew,
It's almost like it's where fruit and vegetable meet. Like an underripe, like one of my favorite Thai dishes of all time is when they take underripe papayas. They're still green. The sugars have not developed, and they shred them, and they make this beautiful vinaigrette of rice wine vinegar, fish sauce, and chopped peanuts. And those freaking Thai chilies, which will light you up.
oh boy, you've got to grow up with those.
Yeah, but that kind of it's
You're making me hungry,
it's
Jeff.
from a fruit, but it's used as a vegetable. And I
it
feel
makes
like
sense
what
with
you're
that
talking
texture,
about
yes.
with that going towards that rind.
Well, when you get a honeydew or a cantaloupe, you're not going to eat the rind,
Right.
Unless you candy it. So I mean, this is not
Right.
the skin is nothing to do with the flavor on the inside. And I'm thinking almost like the crust of pulling it out of the earth, that's like stuck to it, but it has that. When you pull a honeydew out of the ground, and I know they grow above ground, but they're usually, because they're so heavy, you don't trellis melons, they grow on the ground.
Yeah.
But you flip them over, there's always that layer of dirt and mud on the side that you have to brush off before you wash them. But you're still the green. I mean,
Yeah.
the papaya Thai thing is a great call.
There's,
and you've got my mouth watering just wanting to eat that.
right.
Except for
at this video, let's go to the Thai
except
place.
for the 9 chilies floating in it. I just want 3. But
Well, there's also there's florality here. There's some kind of candy. This hard candy my grandmother had, and it was very floral, rosy kind of. And I'm getting hints of that in here. Oh, of course, you can name all kinds of fruit. We're talking about a lot of complex things in this wine. This wine is under $20, and that's what I love about Portugal: the incredible value without sacrificing complexity.
well, this is remarkable, and boy, is the third sip different than the first. That fruit is really toned down, and really the structure of it and the stick-to-itiveness is really coming out now.
Okay, this is gonna blow your mind. I'm not gonna say it tastes like this, but there's a textural component here that I'm gonna tell you what it reminds me.
I love it. Can't
Okay,
wait.
it's gonna sound crazy. The strawberry Nestle Quick when you put it in milk. It's
Nice.
like it's that
Nice.
that weight, the
weight,
creamy
the
weight
creamy.
to this.
And also the bubbles. When you first whisk in Nesquik to milk, it's like a cappuccino. It takes a while to settle, so
Yeah.
you also get that weight.
Yeah, and you can see here
Yeah.
that these bubbles are holding on.
We're getting some airiness to that for sure, and they're just lasting there on the bottom. That's terrific.
Yeah, so that's a crazy description of the texture. I'm not saying this tastes like Nestle Quick, but I would say this, that there are,
Cocoa?
Cocoa.
I'd go with cocoa. Yeah,
that's what I was going to say.
yeah. I
There's
get a
some
little
cocoa.
leather on this too, a little tobacco leather, but not like
I'm also getting,
like raw tobacco.
yeah, I'm
Like
also getting a little, somewhere between plastic and rubber. Like a little tiny hint of something inorganic, manufactured.
Manufactured. Yeah.
Maybe like when you open a computer out of a box, or
Right,
a TV
or
out of a
you're
box.
pulling the the plastic or the bubble wrap off. and
There's
it
like there's a
releases.
little bit of that.
You can smell the factory where it was packaged. It's kind of trapped in there.
And these are
Great
all compliments, mind you. These are not negative.
Very creative.
I don't think anybody would go like, man, I really wish this tasted like a computer box. That's not exactly what we're talking about here. We're just talking about the layers of things that you can find in a wine. And it's not always about the price, although typically wines that you can name a lot of things on are expensive.
Well, I'll say this. I've never drank a computer box. So the jury's out on whether that's good or not. But now every time I open something with a wrap, I'm going to think
Just
about
make it
this
thirsty.
wine. And I'm going to be like, well, that's not a bad thing. It's like Portuguese wine.
Yeah. So
It's like Alicante Bouchette.
yeah, this is certainly not as simply fruity. Remember the way this is not simply fruity. And typically, not typically, but oftentimes in Portuguese red blends, they're kind of a predictable fruit, big texture, still going back to that
Stewy
creaminess. But through and through fruit, and this has a lot of interesting things going on in addition to that.
Well, to me, it's always stewy fruit or dried fruit, which is why it lingers. Because, a dried fruit or a stewed fruit is going to have a much longer lingering presence than a fresh fruit, to me. So, when I get a lot of these flavors, that to me is more of it has more staying power and not as like shockingly bright on the front. It's more of a back tone stewed fruit. It's delicious.
This has got a lot going on, and we really appreciate that kind of offering at this kind of price. What can I say? I just hope you're enjoying it as much as we are. Now, also, just think about this, Chef. I wonder what this tasted like 5 years ago.
5 years ago. Or like right out of the bottle at 2
Yeah.
or 3 years.
Yeah.
So 6 years is a long time to have its first offering.
Yeah, and I think that this has got that dryness. It's not like heavily tannic. It's like underripe dryness, and I dig it. I think it's lovely. I think for those people out there that they're more Malbec drinkers than Cab drinkers because of the low tannins, you can still have dryness without heavy tannins. That's one of the things is you can have dryness in white wines, and they technically don't have tannins according to the people that write the Somm books and the Somm classes. But with that being said, tannins aren't the only thing that give you dryness. It's the absence of sugar, really.
Or the absence of sugar. Absolutely.
So
whether it's added or residual, it's just that's going to chemically what's going to happen on your palate.
I am in love with this one.
It's absolutely
It gets better every time.
It's fascinating.
And it evolves in your glass. It's the first time I had this, I really liked it. And now I like it even more. I like it even more. It's crazy.
Well, and you've had time to think about it, walk around with it a little bit in your head. I think that always helps a wine.
Yeah, usually when I'm tasting these, it's like I'm with just 10 wines in a row.
It's like and you're writing notes and you're listening to people in your ear.
Boom, next wine.
And you're also getting the influence of the person you're tasting with, who's feeding you stuff that's maybe steering you one way or another. And so when you have a quiet moment to revisit, that's when it really...
Yeah, a little more intimate.
Absolutely.
We better revisit one more time, Chef. Would you like some more?
Well, I already forgot what it tastes like, so I can't really pair anything with it without
before you
without
make
knowing.
any rash
It could be a
decisions.
disaster. Every time you make a rash decision, it's always a poor one.
It's because you haven't had enough wine.
Unless you're coming up to a stoplight, of course. This is just fun.
This would go with so many things, Chef.
Really getting the dried cherry, the
Big
raisin
time.
right now, and that's really fun. It's flourishing in that way. Almost
Okay, yeah, it's like dried
vanilla
cherry,
extract, not vanilla bean. Not
agreed.
that level.
Now
of
this
just like-
was 18 months in oak, but I don't know that it was new oak.
Sure. But
I couldn't imagine it would be new oak because this would be a vanilla bomb.
it would be a bomb,
And
yeah.
it's honestly not spicy.
No.
Yeah, I'm not
No,
getting. I mean, like,
there's no spice.
I'm not saying there's none, but that it's
You
not.
could maybe have some background
I got pepper.
but yeah,
But I wouldn't say those traditional baking spices you get from a.
no, not at all. But it's still, I mean, wow, what a wine. Gonna be great. Well, we're gonna put some pork belly with this.
That would make people happy.
It's gonna make people really happy.
Yeah.
It's gonna make us happy when
God,
we
we haven't had
revisit
pork
it.
belly forever.
Yeah, I know, and I think this is kind of great. This is from Colfax Farms in Bostic, North Carolina. Cool little farm. Got some pork belly coming from them this week. But excited to explore a new farm. Always a good thing to do, and good North Carolina people. So yeah, I think that's going to be. I don't know exactly how I'm going to dive into it yet. I just know I'm going to.
Yeah.
So I talked to them today, so it's kind of a new thing, being in the morning. So I would look forward to diving into that. So I'll have a couple of days to play with it before we have to roll it out. So
Beautiful.
that's going to be fun. But we're definitely going to have pork belly. There's definitely going to be some crustiness. There's certainly going to be some element of lacquer, whether it be in the form of barbecue or some Thai sugar or something like that, where we caramelize the exterior. I just don't know which direction yet, but it's going to be fun.
Yeah, that would be beautiful. The lacquer too. That's a great word,
And
especially when you're talking about food.
when you're talking about food,
Yeah.
I mean, you're like a lacquered duck, a lacquered pork belly. I mean, that to me is,
I guess
you
the
know what
most-
to get excited.
Like the most famous, they would never use the word lacquer, but it's Peking duck. They just.
Mhm.
But they don't ever use that word. But I like that word in terms of food. So,
Well, to me, it tells me exactly what's coming
yeah.
and what to texturally expect, and even if they're using torches. So, I mean, I just love it. And even figs, I like to lacquer figs, like what I'm fixing to do with your mom's figs.
Oh my gosh, we got
So
probably
I'm
10
gonna,
pounds.
I'm
of
gonna
that.
lacquer those too.
There's more coming. I don't know if you want any.
I do.
I don't know what to
I'm
do
gonna
with them all.
I'm gonna jam them
There's a
and
bazillion
sauce
of
them,
them.
and might have some figs with that pork belly.
Yeah,
a great combination.
Had the last bit of chanterelles off Mom's property today in an omelet form and sent them off to Chicago, and that was fun. And Chef, I want to thank you for hooking me up. I went down to see my little brother a week early for his birthday, so his birthday week will be this week. We're celebrating all week apparently. Of course, my
As
little
it
brother.
should be.
Yeah, my little brother is now out in the workforce.
He's gonna kill
Got
it.
to spend time with him. He's engaged and living his best life.
His life, his best life. Everything's right in front of him. I just love it. Happy birthday, Whit.
Yep, happy birthday, brother of the year. So he's, so we went down there and cooked some ribeyes, and we had chanterelles from George McDonald. We had those what are those, Italian yellows?
Italian
pole,
from-
some people call them poles.
Yeah,
But they were yellow.
they're yellow.
They're wonderful.
They were like a runner bean,
Like a runner
Italian
bean.
running bean.
Yeah, beautiful.
Gorgeous stuff.
We had that Italian eggplant.
Had some frying peppers,
yeah,
some
the-
poblanos.
Yep. We also had some heirloom tomatoes.
Oh yeah.
We had the arugula from
Greenhouse Towers. Yeah,
Thank you
arugula's
guys, that was
right on.
lovely. Ooh, that packed some punch for baby.
I'm telling you what.
That's the first time I've had a baby
That's
that got
why
my
I put
attention.
the mozzarella and the stuff in there, hoping you need a little bit of fat to help. But I've been using.
No, I sauteed them. They were wonderful.
Nice.
Put it with the chanterelles and the steak and bordelets. Forget about it.
Forget about it.
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing pesto, pistachio arugula pesto for a couple of weeks with that, and I love the way the rich, oily nuts interact with the arugula. I think it really helps. It doesn't like knock it down,
Yeah,
but it balances
balance.
it balances it out, and I mean I've been super impressed with everything that he's brought. So
Yeah.
that's a great find, a great collaboration, and I know he's happy to move more lettuce because we go through a lot of lettuce here at the Old North State restaurant.
That's kind of what we do. Lots of fresh food, lots of delicious food. Well, if you want to buy any of these, we're happy to get them for you. Any of the videos from the previous, gosh, I don't know how many episodes, 100 or so, we'd happy to get those for you as well.
Just go through and rewatch them all.
Yeah, just watch all of those videos one by one if you've got like an extra 100 hours on on your hands. But we do enjoy making these videos because we like drinking wine. We like talking about wines that we think are worthy and tasty. Hey, send us back some feedback in these comments. Like, share, tell your friends, etc., etc. Support these wineries. They're producing great wines at great prices. You'll never see us really reviewing anything over $40, so that tells you that they're all a bargain. These two today are particularly a great bargain as well. And pricing aside, the quality is there, but
Drink first, price second.
that's right. So we try to make it first and foremost delicious, and second, we want to make sure that you can afford to buy more, because when you buy 1 or 2 bottles of something, it's gone immediately and you don't have any left. Buy more.
And there's a danger in all right, well, those are gone, let's get some different wines, and you forget or you don't revisit. And that to me is the real shame, when you have something you really like and it just kind of falls in the wayside in the hecticness of life.
I've really enjoyed all the 5-course dinners we've done here at the winery, the chef's tables, the winemakers' tables. We've just been so busy with all these high-end experiences. And what that does for me is I get to get closer to the customer and get to know more about them. And just having these customers that, they get it. They're like,
They get it.
I want a case. I don't want a bottle.
Right.
I want to have it.
I want
when
this
I want
moment in time. I want this experience in a bottle. I want to be able to revisit
Yeah.
it when I want to revisit it.
Yeah, or share it with friends. Another thing is, don't be selfish with these discoveries. Share with a friend. If you buy a
Use
case,
it as a
bring
reason to invite someone over.
Exactly, or use it as a reason for them to give you something back in return, a baited gift, if you will.
There you go.
Hey, I gave you
Everybody
this.
wins.
Where's mine?
What's next?
Yeah. Anyway, that's just being silly. I'm just kidding. But wine is a beautiful gift. And I'm telling you what, if you give me a gift of wine, I don't care if it costs $5 or $6. I'm still going to be very happy to get it. And don't be afraid to cook for chefs.
Ever.
Invite chefs over to eat as much as you possibly
Because
can.
we love grilled cheese.
Because all you people that are afraid to cook for chefs, you're wrong. Chefs will love it.
There's nothing that means
They
more than
absolutely love it.
home
Grilled
cooked meal.
cheese, BLT, whatever. PBJ.
How great
As long as there's good wine.
How great has the BLT game been these last few weeks with all these heirloom tomatoes
yeah.
and this beautiful bacon? This has
Yeah.
been my go-to. We've been eating BLTs.
And not to mention the Greenhouse Towers lettuce.
I got so excited the other night. We don't normally have sandwiches for dinner.
You usually have breakfast or dinner, don't you?
Or something. I can't help it. I always turn it into something.
Yeah.
But we had some heirloom tomatoes, some beautiful fresh bread, some Greenhouse Tower lettuce, some Darcy Farms bacon. We had some local cheese, and it was just it was the most magnificent sandwich in the history of the world. And I've been eating just a lot of grab some challah bread, put some tomatoes on it, and just stand there and eat it. It's the best time of year for that. Sandwich life is good.
You're not wrong. So enjoy a good sandwich with one of these beautiful wines, and you will not be
Or a
disappointed.
lamb burger with this.
Oh, big time.
A little brioche bun,
Yeah.
a little lamb burger, some blue cheese.
Yeah,
Forget
why not?
about it.
Blue cheese,
Red onion.
blue cheese with this, unbelievable. I guarantee it. All right, guys, thanks again for watching. All you loyal fans, we hope to see you again in person. But remember, we're always here for you on video. See you soon.
Take care.